This is going to be my second video update for the day because we have a lot of news that we need to discuss today. And the big topic is two big topics, I think, that we need to discuss. And we'll also do another clown world. And the first topic is the Ruble USD. And the second topic is Milley speaking with Russia's Gerasimov. The two military leaders spoke. This is after Austin phoned up Shoigu. And so, and we'll cover some more stories, whatever comes to my mind. Some more stories about wheat. There's a lot of panic in and around food. So, keep your eye out on the collective, on the collective West panic over food shortages, and you know that they're scrambling to figure out solutions because they don't want wheat for rubles to be launched by the Kremlin. Gas for rubles was already enough embarrassment for the collective West, and they're trying to avoid wheat for rubles, but it's unavoidable. It's coming. So look, let's get to the first story. This is a quick one. The ruble, it is at 0.9 to the dollar as I am recording this video. 57.8 or 0.9. I'll put the chart right up on the screen. That is incredible. That is incredible. It went under 60. Wow. I mean, if it keeps on going lower, it's actually going to be a problem for the Russians, for the Russian economy. I mean, they can't have it go too low. But it just says it all, doesn't it? People are moving to the ruble. And I know there's a lot of restrictions in Russia still. There's a lot of restrictions. There's a lot of controls. And things are not quite open. But it does show that when things do fully open up in Russia, with regards to any capital controls or anything along those lines, the ruble's not gonna weaken that much. Maybe it'll go from, say, 60 to 70, 60 to 80 once everything opens up. Maybe it'll go to 70 or 80. Maybe it'll strengthen. Who knows? The way things are going right now, the way the euro looks, and the way the USD is going to be heading, maybe the ruble will get to like 50. Can you imagine that? 50 rubles to a dollar. So that's huge news. That is huge news. Who's winning again? Who is winning this? I thought Biden said that the ruble was going to be at like 150 or 300. Wasn't that what Biden said in a speech to Congress? Actually, the State of the Union. I think Biden used the word rubble or something like that. It's going to be, the ruble's going to be turned into rubble, and it's going to hit like 40 times higher. It's going to get to like 300 or 400. Boy, that State of the Union speech from Biden did not age very well. That's for sure. So that's the big news. That is huge news. Under 60 is, I'm speechless. Astonishing. The other big news is that Mark Milley, the very woke, anti-white, CRT, U.S., what is he, the chief of Joint Chiefs of Staff, the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Anyway, Milley called up his Russian counterpart, Gerasimov. And once again, this was initiated by the U.S. That tells you everything, doesn't it? First, you have Lloyd Austin initiating a call with Shoigu, and everything was kept under wraps. Now you have Milley initiating a call with Gerasimov, and everything is being kept under wraps as to what they discussed. And we don't know what was talked about, nor will we ever know. But sidewalks in Cyprus, huh? But what was I saying? Just the fact that you now have two U.S. generals, two U.S. high-level officials calling their Russian military counterparts. They're initiating the call. Once again, tells you who's winning and who is losing. And I'm sure the call between Milley and Gerasimov had a lot to do with what's going on in Donbass, the surrenders that we're hearing about in Lysychansk, in North Lugansk, Severodonetsk. That's a hard one to say. Severodonetsk, this area, the surrenders that are taking place there. Azovstal was a big turning point, especially a very big psychological turning point. All of these things that are happening in Ukraine on the ground is one of the reasons why I believe Milley called Gerasimov. I also believe that Milley called Gerasimov because the U.S. and the collective West is panicking about food shortages. And I think that they're calling their Russian counterparts because they're trying to work out a deal where they can get wheat out of the Ukraine, whether it's through ports or whether it's via the West through Belarus to Lithuania. And I say that because there are reports coming out now, I think from, I think from the Wall Street Journal, of all places. One second. The U.S. considers lifting Belarus sanctions. And this is coming from the Wall Street Journal. The U.S. is considering granting Belarus a 6-month waiver from sanctions imposed on its chemical industry last year in exchange for opening up the railroads to start shipping grain from Ukraine to Lithuania. I bet you that both Austin and Milley are trying to figure out ways of getting wheat and grain out of Ukraine and into Europe, because the EU, if they have a food shortage, if EU citizens go hungry, boy, is this Ukraine narrative going to collapse in on them. It's already collapsing, but man, is it going to be bad if EU citizens have to stop eating. Can you imagine that? It's not looking good. It's not looking good for the European Union. They're scrambling. They're scrambling in a really, really big way. I'm going to get hit by a car as I walk, because these sidewalks, look at these sidewalks. Doesn't really give me much, does it? All right, let's cross over. Cyprus. One thing that the Cypriots and the Greeks both, one thing about our cultures that we haven't learned to do, we just don't have the, I don't know, we don't have the technology, the aptitude for it. We just don't have the technological skill. I don't know. The one thing we cannot do is build sidewalks. This is in Cyprus and in Greece. We just don't know how to do it. We've never figured out that skill of building a sidewalk. But this is crazy. Not so good for walking around and doing videos, is it? What else do I want to talk about? Yeah, so Medvedev came out with some comments with regards to how stupid the collective West is acting with regards to their sanctions, specifically their sanctions on food and on wheat. And Medvedev is really sticking it to the European Union. Let me get some of his quotes here, because he was brutal. So Medvedev said in a Telegram post, he said that Russia will not export food to the detriment of its own market. He then went on to say the importing countries would have a very difficult time, especially because without Russian fertilizers, only juicy weeds would grow on their fields. Medvedev also said, well, that's sad. They've got themselves to blame, in reference to the impending autumn food crisis. Medvedev also said that the West is now backing up because all these hellish sanctions are worthless when it comes to vital things such as food and energy. So true. Sanctions interfere with everyone's desire to live a normal, prosperous life, Medvedev said. The expansion of NATO and the mess with the calculations of debts, payments, and other things have aggravated the situation. And what interferes the most is the West's own, this is great, cosmic cretinism. What interferes the most is the West's own cosmic cretinism. On the one hand, insane sanctions are being imposed on us, and on the other hand, the West is demanding food supplies. It will not happen. We're not idiots, Medvedev said. Food for the citizens of Russia is a sacred matter. My God. Medvedev, he's become a hawk. Big time hawk is Dmitry Medvedev. So that's what he said with the wheat, grain, fertilizer, food panic that is now gripping the collective West. And they're doing it because they don't want the Kremlin to come out in August and say, we have no problem exporting wheat, but you have to pay for it in rubles. That's their fear. That's why they're trying to figure out, how do we get to that grain? Should we lift sanctions on Belarus to move the grain out on railroads? Should we call up our Russian counterparts and beg them to allow the grain to leave via the Black Sea ports, which they control? Or should we send anti-ship missiles to Zelensky, and hopefully the Zelensky government and the military can find a way to sink enough Russian ships so that we could break through the Russian blockade? I mean, they're trying to figure things out as to how to avoid what's coming, because what's coming is Vladimir Putin coming out with a statement and signing a decree which says wheat for rubles. That's what he's going to say, wheat for rubles. And we'll sell our wheat to friendly countries in a way that's comfortable for them. We don't want to burden friendly countries, but for unfriendly countries, you have to open up an account at Gazprom Bank, deposit your USD and your euros. We will exchange those USDs and those euros, and we'll deposit it in a second account that you have opened with Gazprom Bank in rubles, where you can then pay us for our wheat. That is exactly what Russia's going to do. And I think the embarrassment, the political fallout, the shock of such an announcement from the Kremlin is just too much for the collective West to stomach. Just too much. 40 companies in Europe have signed up for gas for rubles. 40 companies. And they left Timmermans, he's like the vice commissioner or vice chairman of the European Union, whatever, one of those unelected kleptocrat, bureaucrat positions in the EU. He came out with a statement and he said he's very disappointed at the fact that so many companies have signed up for the gas for rubles payment policy. Well, what did you expect, Timmermans? Timmermans was the guy that came out with a statement 2 weeks ago and said that Europeans should avoid hot showers, and they should not wash their clothes. They should just put their clothes to air dry. That was his solution to the cutting off of gas by Europe. That's how he saw things. So you can't really say the same for hunger, can you, Timmermans? What are you going to tell people to do? Stop eating? Is that going to be Timmermans' solution to the lack of food and fertilizer? Tough spot, tough times for the collective West, very tough times. What else should we talk about here before we get into our clown world? There is news that the Azov guys that have been captured at Azovstal, all the Azov NAZIs are going to be tried as terrorists. I don't think that should surprise anybody. I talked about how tribunals are being set up, and all those tatted up, those NAZI tatted up Azov guys are going to be facing a very bleak future in some remote part of Russia. That's a certainty. They will be tried as terrorists. China is calling for, China is making moves. They're making a lot of moves. China's calling for an expansion to BRICS, which is it's stunning. It's incredible, because China wants to expand BRICS to encompass Latin America and Africa, more Latin American and African countries. China's actually working on getting Argentina into BRICS. And they've hinted at the fact that it's time for BRICS to expand even further in Latin America and in Africa. Why not? I think that China sees a huge opportunity because a lot of countries now, outside of the collective West, they're saying, you know what, we can. There's an opportunity for us to take part in this fair world order that Lavrov has dubbed it, the fair world order. We can be out of the system, like Russia is out of the system, and the institutions that Russia and China are setting up look pretty good. And so you're going to have a lot of countries in Latin America and in Africa that are going to want to sign up to the BRICS. They're going to say, let's give the BRICS a shot. Why not? Yeah. Smart move by China. Very smart move. One more story that I want to get to before I get to Clown World, and it does have to do with Ukraine and Russia, more specifically with Ukraine and China, actually, and it has to do with Hunter Biden. So we've got NBC, out of all the news outlets, NBC, which is Democrat, uber-friendly, globalist, deep state, uber-friendly NBC, came out with a report basically saying that Hunter Biden took out $11 million in fees over 5 years working with Ukrainian and Chinese firms, specifically CFC, the supposedly the energy company in China, and of course, Burisma in Ukraine. And let me just read you the quotes because this is incredible. It's really incredible because it's coming from NBC. I think that's what makes it so incredible. So NBC said this, and this is coming from the Hunter laptop from hell. The documents and the analysis, which don't show what he did to earn millions from his Chinese partners, raise questions about national security, business ethics, and potential legal exposure. In December 2022, Biden acknowledged in a statement that he was the subject of a federal investigation into his taxes. NBC News was first to report that an ex-business partner had warned Biden he should amend his tax returns to disclose $400,000 in income from the Ukrainian firm Burisma. GOP congressional sources also say that if Republicans take back the House this fall, they'll demand more documents and probe whether any of Biden's income went to his father, President Joe Biden. That is coming from an NBC article. Can you imagine that? NBC is reporting on this. They want Joe out. An analysis of Hunter's expenses reveal over $200,000 per month from October 2017 through February 2018 on everything from Porsche payments, dental work. I'm sorry. I'm just picturing Hunter's teeth, his teeth from all the crack use, dental work, cash withdrawals, and luxury hotel rooms, which Biden has admitted he used on drugs and partying with strangers who often stole from him. Partying with strangers, they mean prostitutes. Hunter also struggled to keep current on multiple mortgages, alimony, and child support payments to his ex-wife. God, this is incredible. This is coming from NBC. Things got so bad that Hollywood attorney Kevin Morris, who began advising Hunter in 2022, arranged to pay off around $2 million owed to the IRS, which legal experts say doesn't let Hunter off the hook for criminal liability or necessarily erase his debts. NBC News analyst Chuck Rosenberg, a former Justice Department official, said that Biden's paying what he owes could even be seen as an admission of criminal violations. Not paying taxes for many years, rather than one or two, Rosenberg said, helps establish intent, which can otherwise be a struggle for prosecutors in white-collar cases. Paying the bill, Rosenberg said, might help Biden if he faced sentencing and mitigate some of the damage, but it doesn't undo the crime. That would be like returning money to a bank that you robbed. You still robbed the bank. Once again, this is coming from NBC News. What does that tell you? Biden's time is running out. That's what it tells me. Joe Biden, not Hunter. Hunter Biden's time is running out as well, but Joe Biden's time is running out in a big, big way. One final story, actually. Let me just report on this. The EU, Ursula von der Crazy, she's creating a roadmap, a $300 billion roadmap to ditch Russian energy by 2022. And this roadmap is going to be full of all kinds of grants and money to be dished out for alternative energy sources, renewable energy, and all of that stuff. In other words, more theft. We are taking our ambition to yet another level to make sure that we become independent from Russian fossil fuels as quickly as possible, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said in Brussels when announcing her package dubbed Repower EU. 300 billion USD up for grabs in renewable energy. Green energy, that's going to save Europe. That's the plan. So after all of this time, the EU's plan is to create a $300 billion fund, slush fund, which will be dished out to renewable energy. Ukraine. This is the gift that just keeps on giving for the globalists, isn't it? So I will leave it there. Let's do a quick clown world. This clown world has to do with beer. And what is the beer? I think it's Michelob. Michelob Ultra is the beer. And it is being sold at a PGA golf tournament, at the PGA Championship. Michelob Ultra is being sold for $18 a bottle. $18 a bottle. Let's see, pro golfer Justin Thomas, who is in the tournament, tweeted Monday, $18 for a beer. What? Gotta treat the fans better than that. $18 for a bottle of beer. Okay, granted, it's being sold at a country club, at a big golf tournament. I get it. But $18 still, I can see maybe $10. I can see that kind of markup given the event and the location and all of that stuff. But $18, give me a break. Get used to it, everybody. What can I say? This is tragic. I mean, I don't know if I should laugh or cry, but for the video, I will laugh, I will smile, but inside I'm crying because I don't want to pay $18 or 18 euros for a beer. But I know it's coming. I know it is coming. Anyway, we will leave it there. TheDuran.locals.com, everybody. Take care.